Hey everyone, we're getting started here for the phase 2 of the Snazzy Slouch sew along. I will give a little time for people to get on. We're a little bit early. We are doing the lining, the divider pocket as the pattern calls for. I am adding in a zipper pocket to flip the bag through, and a key leash. So there are a couple things that are already prepped, but for the most part, we're following the directions as they go. So I'll give everybody a little bit of time to get on.
8 minutes.
Steven, my husband, is at the computer to kind of help if we need it. So we'll see how it goes. It's a stormy Sunday afternoon here in North Florida. So if y'all can give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment so I know that comments are working today and I can see them. And we'll get everything going soon. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna knock everything off here real quick. Turn everything on. And I found a pin. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Give me a thumbs up so you can, if you can see and hear fine. And drop me a comment if you like so I know comments are working. I'm collecting dropped stuff off my floor. Alright, while we're waiting for people to join in and find us, I'm going to flip the camera around and go over to the cutting table. Because we've got some cutting to do for the lining. Let me get us set up over here. So we don't fall. Ta-da. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. People will be able to watch this. What?
5 minutes.
I use these little clips just kind of for holding things together. They're the little hair clips. I saw it on another group. Lauren from More Me Know, I guess, saw it or told people about it. They're good if you don't need a lot of grippies. I use them mostly for keeping my pages together. So what I have going on is I've got the directions. You know, you always need those.
Tell you how to jam.
This is the bag that we have started. It's made with a lightweight denim. I would say it's probably a 6 ounce, or if that. Might be a 5 ounce. So up until step 12 gets you this far. And we've got our pockets in the front, you know, 2 on each side. We've got a base. The top stitching on these sides is not in the pattern. I added it. I just feel like it gives it a little bit more support. And then the top stitching down the side is in the pattern.
You're gonna do feet?
No, not on slouch bags. So we've got the yoke. You know, your zipper is stitched nicely. And, you know, the final part really does go fairly fast with, because all we have is the inside to do and put it together. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me, hear me, if we're good to go.
Jan said hi.
I don't see any comments. Leave me a comment and hopefully we'll be able to see them. Well, I can't. I don't know. Hopefully, well, Steven's at the computer, so if our comments aren't going to work.
Sheila says, "Hi Amanda, I hear you loud and clear."
Oh, cool. Sheila, cool, thanks. I can't see comments, but Steven's over there at the computer. Okay, so we've got our directions. We've got our lining pieces, hardware, zippers, blah, 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 whole 9 yards. Our first step on the lining is to take our lining body pieces and cut out a 2-inch square at the bottom. Both sides. Make sure you have the bottom. So mine is butterflies fly up. So top. And I just have them back to back so they are good. And I'm going to line them up. In this pattern, the lining is not interfaced. And I follow the directions this time. I'm going to grab my acrylic ruler and just draw out I'm going to draw it because I don't really like.
Kay, you hear you loud and clear.
Cool, thanks, Kay. I can't see comments. Steven's going to have to just tell me comments.
Hello, 85B?
Huh?
Hello, 85.
Alright, I've got my friction pen that erases with the iron. And I'm just going to draw a 2-inch square. And it may erase with iron, but I can't really use my iron much until we get all this stuff fixed, you know. I'm blowing the breaker, so I have to have limited use of my iron upstairs. Okay, we've got our squares drawn, and we're gonna cut them. Let me use these scissors.
Pictures looks good.
Hmm?
Picture looks good.
I don't like using a rotary cutter on this part because I always end up going past it. You can save your little 2-inch squares if you want. Alright. I have already done this part. This is your patch pocket A and B. Are there any comments? Okay. They are just, I've already prepped these. You fold them, you fold the ends back a 1/4 inch, press them. So then you have a little flap once you fold it. Then you know, sew it right sides together, flip it, top stitch the top. And then you have your patch pockets. So for ease of ironing and not blowing the breaker, I've already prepped them. So we can go to where we actually put them on. This is a bag that can be done on a domestic fairly easily all the way through. I do use an industrial compound feed walking foot machine because I have it set up with a heavier thread and I like the heavier thread for the top stitching. So, okay, we are going to grab patch pocket A, which I think is a smaller one. Let me make sure I have the right patch pocket. I think it's a smaller one. Yeah, this is the one that's about 7.5 by 5.5 or 6, so it's the smaller of the two. And I'm gonna grab a bigger acrylic square ruler. stuff out of the way. And we center it, and it goes 1.5 inches down from the top edge. We only need one of these though. And I would have this really nice big cutting board. So I like to center things down the 15. It's a 36-inch long. So I center it down the 15 one in the center so that I know how it's going, you know, how I know it's centered there. And then I kind of center my ruler too. So we're going 1.5 inches. I don't like that my comments aren't working. Huh? Yeah, but my comments are not working. If I comment, no. And I don't know. So I'm going to take my patch pocket and center it. And you can pick whatever side you want to be the top or the, you know, the front. It doesn't really matter. You can mark center or you can measure. So that's center, 4¼ inches in from both sides is roughly center. I pin this. So I'm gonna pin there. Pin there. I don't want it moving. I don't want to deal with uneven things again. And this is split. Let me see how I did mine. Okay, I actually don't divide this side. So I just leave this open. It says to draw a line down the center and divide it, but I don't on this one so that I can actually have a decent sized slip pocket because our phones are so ginormous now. So I'm going to go set this one aside and grab the other lining piece and do the same thing. So I'm going to line it up. Inch and a half down, and a patch pocket. Trim some seams. I'm just trying to make sure it's cleaned up before I put it on there with the threads. Steven. Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, I'm going to do this before I put the pocket in. I'm going to pin. And I try to pin so that I can still go around it, so I'm not having to remove pins as I'm sewing. Okay, so I'm going to take these over to the machine, so stitch around them, and then I'm going to come back and mark this one to do a stitching. I'm going to move this one down. Since I do the lining pocket, the lining zipper pocket to flip it through, I have a piece here of interfacing, and it's 2 inches. So I'm going to move this down so that it is at 2 inches instead of 1.5. And this is the small zipper pouch, or zipper pocket, or not zipper pocket, patch pocket. So sorry about that, but I want to make sure that we have it done. This is a alteration to the pattern. This is one of the only ones I do. One of the only things I do. So 2 inches down for this patch pocket A instead of 1.5 inches.
Brenda, good afternoon from Clarksville, Tennessee.
Hi Brenda, thanks for joining. I can't see comments, so Stephen is trying to read them off too. Yeah, because people come in. Alright, so we've got that centered 2 inches down instead of what the pattern says at 1.5 inches. And this is going to be this panel that my flipping zipper pocket goes on. So I'm sorry if that confused everybody. Didn't mean to do it, but I want to make sure that we have room to work. So, okay, now we're going to go over and sew these down and go from there. So, come with me. Alright, we are over here at the Sailrite machine, my industrial. And again, I'm just using it because it's got the thicker thread in it. Let me see if I can swipe some way to get some comments. No, I don't know. Oh well. Might bring the computer over here. Okay. So we're going to take first one, and I have my stitch length set about 3 1/4 or so. And I'm just going to go about 1/8 inch from the edge. You want to make sure you get those, you know, your side caught and keep it neat, because I sew down the side that is not, that is open first. Go into your corner, and I follow the side of my center foot. If you just find a mark, it makes stitching them a lot easier. And I find watching the side of my foot and keeping it aligned is better than watching where I'm stitching. Make sure you get it stitched really well. And I'm a thread trimmer as I go. Alright, patch pocket B. We're going to stitch her up. Same thing. Back stitch, make sure it's on there good. Along. down. And if you need to go like a half a stitch, just use your, do it manually. Okay. So we've got those stitched on, our pockets. I'm going to go draw some lines so that I can stitch the divider in the side. I do not divide the little one. I like to be able to stick, you know, a little zipper pouch or whatever I have in it. Something's tickling my throat, sorry. Alright, so back to the drawing table. Okay, can you see?
Connie, hi from Reno, Nevada.
Hi Connie, thanks for joining us. Alright. Just leave a little bit of blood where we go.
Kim said very cool.
Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to set my zipper pieces with it. So I know that's done. Now, unpin everything because you don't need the pin since it's already tacked down. And I'm going to line it back up. And I like to cut one down the center. Can I have your fingers just a second? And when I'm setting these up, I like to grab my phone and make sure a phone is going to fit in a pocket. So I want to be able to slide it right in. And his is in a giant case. So mine will for sure fit. So if you split it in half, and this is patch pocket B, split patch pocket B in half, it'll fit the giant iPhone 7 Pluses in a case. Now I need to find my pin. So I'm going to take my friction pin, you know, the erasable ones, test it on fabric first. And I'm going to draw a line. And since I'm drawing on darker fabric, I'm not even going to sure if it's going to show up. There it goes. Okay, so I have it split in half, and then pick a side, any side, doesn't matter what side, and I like to do pin pockets. So I go from the edge and just kind of pick and go from there. And this one's going to be about 1 3/4 inches from the edge. You can fit a couple pins in each of these pin pockets most of the time. It's just something I like to do. And then from there, change this around. Go another 1.5 inches. And this is totally up to you how you decide to split these pockets up. You can just do 2 sides. I am a pocket person. So then that leaves that one about 1.5 inches too. So 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, half of whatever it is. And then I'm going to take it back over to the machine. And I stitch from the bottom to the top. To the bottom. So I go up, down on all 3 of them. Alright, let's go over to the machine. Doo-doo-doo. Alright, so we're going to start at I'm going to start in the center one, just for ease of it. And I always put that needle down where I want it to go. And I'm going to do a little back stitch first. Do I need to take it off of Wi-Fi?
I'm going in and out.
I'm going to go back down. And then I'm going to just move over to the next one and do the same thing. Huh? It stopped? Caught. Just try to keep your stitching straight and back on it. It's hard sometimes, but it's going to be inside the bag, so it's really not that big of a concern. But I like to, you know, do that double stitching area to make sure that it's nice and secure and not gonna, because you're gonna use those pockets. I use those pockets a lot. Oh, I got comments now. Woohoo! Hi, Colleen. Yeah, I just started a little while ago, and now comments are finally working. I'm just putting on the patch pockets and dividing them out. Make sure Alright, go back down. And now we have our pockets divided. Pockets? And then just...
She loves that sewing machine.
Debbie is amazing. Colleen has the new one. She has the Fabricator. I don't know if anybody else is watching from that group. But this is, I mean, it's a cool machine. Okay. So trim your threads as you go to keep it nice and neat. And I'm not going to trim these, the looped ones on the back, because they don't do anything. Alright, so we have a cell phone pocket, a pen holder. Colleen, you might live with it too. I think I live in this room with this machine. Alright, back over to the drawing board. Okay. This part is not in the pattern. Right, not in the pattern. This is a add-on. We're gonna go take the piece that has patch pocket A, and I set this pocket down 2 inches from the top instead of 1.5 inches. I have a strip of scrap interfacing. This is, I think, 950F. It's very similar to SF101, but it's not woven. It's 2 inches tall and 12 inches wide. And what I do, this time I happen to have two 8.5-inch square pieces. Doesn't really matter the size that you use, it's up to you. Just as long as, just know you're going to be flipping the bag through it. I have a Zipper by the Yard zipper. And for this, those of you that saw the other day, or have watched it, you see that I keep my zippers like this so that I don't have to deal with an open end. And all it is, you can just take your zipper pull off and put it back on, and then you have a closed zipper. So I'm going to take this and draw on it. If you're using this, this is a number 5 zipper. So if you're using a number 3, which is your normal everyday universal zipper, it is a smaller coil. So measure your coil. With this size, I do a 1/4 inch, and with this size, I think I do a 3/8 inch. Let me double check. So I just measure my coil. Yep, I do a box barely larger than my coil. So I'm going to take my fusible interfacing, and I want the fusible side up. And I'm going to put my ruler in the center and go, it doesn't really matter. I'm putting it at the 1/4 inch mark on the center. And I know this is 8.5 inches. Let me get a pin that doesn't bleed everywhere. So this needs to be, sorry, let me see, make sure that's, yeah, it's 8.5. So we're gonna go 7.5 inch long box. I'm going to draw a line that's a 1/4 inch above center, and I'm just drawing a line right now. And then I'm going to turn it around, and for my number 5 zipper, which is the same width as your purse zippers and stuff like that, the purse zippers I think are 4.5, so they're roughly the same. I'm going to draw this 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch if you're using the other one, away from that line. Okay, so just draw it. And then I want to make sure this is 7.5 inches long. Because right now, let's draw, just fold it in half real quick. I'm gonna go 3.25. Wait, that's not right. 3 3/4 should be the center. My math brains are not working so well right now. Where's my center? There it is. So 3 3/4 from the center gives us 7.5. I should really write this down. Ignore my first line. And we are now at 7.5 inch to this one. We'll mark that one out. And I drew that on the bumpy side, fusible side. So we take this back, and I'm going to line it up so that I have it straight. And I'm going to, I like to put, there's normally one side that's a little bit bigger. So I like to put the side that's a little bit bigger down. So I take it and I fold to the line. And normally the pen kind of scores a little bit to make it. So I now have it folded to the top line. And I'm going to go about 1 inch. And we need to center it. So put that top line about an inch down. And then just center it. So I put that top line an inch down, and then we'll kind of go. Let's see how. 1/4, 1/4. We're good. Okay, so take your pen, stabby pins, and pin it down. Make sure it doesn't move. And remember, you have your fusible side up. You joined in?
Hmm?
You joined?
Yeah, I did. I got an alert on my phone.
Oh, okay. So we've got this pin. We're going to take it over to the sewing machine and stitch a box all the way around. Use a fairly small stitch length. And some people don't stitch that box, these corners. I do. So we're going to go back over here and move the dog. Slowly move. Slowly move. It was storming, so she's been a little bit scared. Haha. I hate to see the stuff in the center, you know, the zipper sides. And doing the fusible way makes it so much neater. Woven interfacing would work. I like to use, I feel like the woven has a little bit of a stretch to it. It doesn't really matter. A lot of times I use decor bond. So, okay. We are... Oh. No, we had it here. I need the needle things. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to stitch, and I've got it at just a really small stitch length. A walking foot makes this so much easier and keeps all the layers together. Ignore my first line. My dog is laying on my pedal. Chloe, move. Move. And I didn't have it.
Sharon has 808 and 809. Oh, are you using SF101?
I use SF101 on the outside, where it tells me to. On the inside, I'm pretty sure I use the 950 on the pockets. And the 950 is very similar to the SF101. It's just non-woven. Sharon, 808, 809, both will work. 809 is a little bit crisper. But I use either one of those. Works great for doing this part.
You're going to go under your tail.
Just take your time doing these. Make sure these lines are straight because they do matter.
Are you using the SF101 on the zipper you're working with now?
No, this is 950F, I think it is. It's just a scrap piece of fusible interfacing. It's shirt tailor. Okay, now we're going to take this back over here, and we're going to attempt to iron and hope we don't blow a breaker today again. Hoping that I get a call next week and they tell me they're going to come fix it finally. Okay. cut your line. Cut, draw it out. So you want to just kind of cut down the center. And cut into your triangle. You know, cut your corners. Do not cut your stitching because that makes it messy. And we're cutting through the SF, or through the interfacing and through the material. And I like to use little scissors, super sharp. And that's not the line I went to. The further into those corners you get, the neater it is when it turns. So, you know, really, I have cut the stitching before and it's not fun. But okay. So we're going to take this over to the iron and flip it through. And this is where the fusible interfacing is amazing, because I just fuse it to the back. So let's go over here. I'm gonna turn this on. Turn that off. All right. Uh-oh, I might not. Uh-oh, sorry. Can you see? Steven, I might need you to come hold this for a minute. My cord's not long enough. It's a pretty cool way to do it. So I'm going to just kind of finger press it along that seam. They can't really see it there though. All along those seams, I'm going to kind of finger press it and then flip it to the back side. Pull it through. And this is the trickiest part, so just kind of iron it. Take your time. I think I'm standing on a dog. Fold it down. Make sure you got your seam. Might be slightly melting this. SF101 does not melt like this one does. Decor Bond does not melt like this one seems to. Alright, make sure it's pressed down good without melting it. Turn off the iron. And we have a pocket. Good. Jan, thanks. It took me a while to figure out how to do this without, you know, it getting so wobbly. And this just helps stabilize it just a hair. So, okay, back over here. And we were successful in ironing without tripping a breaker. Woohoo! So we have our pocket opening for the zipper done. Let me just trim those threads a little bit. So we're going to set this aside for just a minute and grab the two 8.5-inch square pockets. So the first one, I got to think on this for a second. Give me a second. You want it, it's going to be in the pocket like this. So when you open it up, it's on the inside. So, and I think it through. Okay, so you do, yeah, right side to wrong side of zipper. And we're going to use zipper tape. Make sure and you can interface this if you want. I didn't. This is a fairly decent, I mean, it's not super thin fabric, so I didn't interface it. Okay, so we are opening, pull that tape off. And this is just like where you would do a zipper pouch. You know,
What is the name of your tape?
It is the Wonder Tape. It's the double-sided wash away Wonder Tape. I don't got the packaging. Yeah, Debbie got it right. Got it. All right, trash can. So, right side of fabric, wrong side of zipper tape. And then you can just test it, make sure you got it, because you want it to be the lining. Alright, we're going to take it and stitch it right over on the machine. I'm going to just move this out the way. Okay, so we're going to take this and this and this. I'm going to take all this over to the machine. You got it. And I do have to switch out to my zipper foot for this.
What?
My zipper foot. This tape came from Joann's. There we go. And I use a coupon because it's not cheap. I have tried the double-sided leather tape from Wawak, and it gums up my needle on my industrial really bad. And I get skip stitches. Other people don't, but I do, so I only use it if I'm not going to be stitching in that spot. But this stuff you can stitch through all day long. It doesn't affect it. Alright, so I've changed to my zipper foot. Make sure you're zipping or stitching the right side of your zipper. And I'm going to just follow along the edge here, because it doesn't need to get super close. So I'm just going to needle down. And I have found that the Wonder Tape really helps if your stuff has a tendency to move. I don't like sewing zippers without it. You're special. Well, some people do say that, but they're not so nice when they say that. Okay. I'm going to find my tool. Another awesome tool. It is the finger presser. It is the Clover brand finger presser. One of the most amazing tools. So, since I can't iron all the time anymore, I just do this. And it works amazing. Okay. And I'm not going to stitch it down. It will be stitched down, so I don't want to have a stitching showing. So now I'm going to put my tape. Another tip from Amanda. The finger presser one. Yeah, I shared that in the Sew group a long time ago. Okay, so just like, you know, your zipper pockets, you want your fabrics facing each other. Let's see, can we get this to look right? Fabrics facing each other, because it's going to be the inside. And then we're just going to tape along here. and stick it and stitch it. And then we'll have a pocket that looks like that. So I'm gonna run a piece of tape along here. It's kind of hard to do without getting in the way.
On camera?
Yeah. Make sure your little strings are out of the way. It's the worst part about non-interfaced fabric is the strings everywhere. Yeah. I'm gonna water them. Make sure you have some different scissors for your tape and alcohol to clean them off when they get too sticky. And I leave them open with my tape, and they don't seem to get stuck together as bad. And my kids are not allowed to come in here and take stuff, so I really don't worry too much about that.
Me either.
Alright, so we're going to pull the tape. And I keep trash cans everywhere in here. And just line them up as best you can. I'm going to... Huh? Yeah, Steven came home one day and asked me to make him a zipper pouch for money. And I told him I would teach him how to make it. So he made a zipper pouch for money for his Navy thing. I was quite proud of him. Turned out really pretty decently. Alright, so we're going to stitch another line right down here, same way. Zipper down, can you see? No. Uh-oh, I'm caught on something here. So, you know, we're real technical here. It is definitely pushing it off for some reason. So we're just going to... It's not going to be seen, so there we go. Just ignore that ugly stitching. And right it, you can open it up and see your pocket now. Pockets together. Make sure you don't zip your zipper off, because then you got to put it back on. Sometimes it's not fun. All right, we're going to take this back over to... I got it, babe. Take your piece that you've put your pocket in, flip it over. And we're going to run tape on both sides of this. And you might take get it as close as you can to the edge. I do prefer using the Decor Bond or the Craft Fuse over the lighter weight for this. But normally I just use whatever scrap I have on hand. Okay. So make sure that's pressed down really well. Pull your tape up. Okay. And then lay this down. We can center it if we want. And I like to put tension on this to kind of keep it straight, and then just center it as best you can. and you can open it up and you're good to go. So then you see that it is fairly straight in here, and it's not much wider than your zipper teeth. And you can obviously adjust it before you stitch if you feel like it's not quite straight. And then, you know, make sure your zipper head is where it belongs, because there's nothing worse than getting this done and then your zipper head is stitched off. And I like to keep it over there kind of snug. So, alright. Back to Sally, because we're top stitching. Sorry, the cut, it's all over the place. Alright. And what I like to do is open this up. Let me get my handy dandy little seam presser. Get my seam presser. And I'm just going to open this up. Because I'm going to stitch, and it's going to actually be in here on the black. So just make sure your lining fabric is out of the way. And we can start, and I go about 1/8 of an inch away. I do not back stitch the very first. I back stitch at the end after I run over the seam. There's a thread in the way. As soon as I get far enough, I'm gonna run my, there we go. I tend to like to put a little bit of pressure on when I'm sewing. I think I'm gonna go. I do back stitch here. And I count my stitches, so I know I'm not gonna just go back and forth over too far. But I do need to go a little bit more. Then we're going to do the same thing, go all the way down, try to stay straight. I got a little wonky there. We're just going to call this the wonky bag.
What's the promo code again for ordering a bag?
Snazzy Live. Live and Snazzy. I don't know if it's still valid though or not. Alright, make sure your stitches or your stuff is together. Your zipper tape. There. If I was going to sell this bag, I would redo that right there because it got all funky. But I'm not, so we're going to deal with it. And you can see in here there's no stitching, like you can, the stitch line is almost hidden into that. So we're going to flip it back down nose itches. See, that would drive me nuts. But we're going to ignore it today for time's sake. We're going to take it over here. Oh, my dog is all up flowy. Move. We had some storms, pretty massive storms earlier, so my little Aussie is just trying to stay under my feet the entire time. I'm going to switch back out to my walking foot. And I'm going to sew straight down both sides of the lining pocket. Back stitching at the beginning and end. This one's going to be a little bit tight to stitch. I'm going to go up. I'm going to take it over to the other one real quick. And finish stitching that because I'm so close. Let me get. Didn't get quite as centered as I like for it to. So make sure you catch everything. And then you have a pocket that is closed at the top. Let's see. No raw edges. And a hole in the bottom to be able to flip it through. So for now, we're going to keep the zipper closed. I will trim off the bottom because you do end up with a little bit of extra fabric. No, I'm not going to trim it off because I don't want it to unravel. So now we go back to following the steps in the pattern. So we are on, we're going to the inside zipper pocket. So we can set this aside. And I lost, there it is. We've got the zipper pockets going on. So we need to we want the zipper to be 11 inches long.
Sheila said, you must try this regular.
It's really, Sheila, it goes really easy too after the first couple times. You know, things always take a little while longer when you're but it really is easy. I think it's easier than the other way. But sometimes it can be a little hard to read how to do it. Trimming our zipper down to 11 inches. Probably shouldn't use those scissors, but oh well. Okay, 11-inch zipper. And it says to stitch a 1/4 inch from each end to keep your zipper from coming apart. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, Cindy went on a boat ride. That sounds like fun. I haven't been on a boat in a really long time. Alright, I'm going to stitch these real quick.
Me neither. Hi Amanda, it is 2:56 a.m. in Malaysia. Lucky I'm awake and noticed you live. Can I share this video?
Yes, but I don't know if people can see it, not in the group.
I'm not sure because it's saved here, right? It's not on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if she can share it, but I don't know if people can watch it if they're not in the group. But she can try if she wants. Alright, I've stitched my ends just a little bit. And now it has, we have to grab our zipper tabs. They are interfaced, and I did use SF101 on them. And we have to press them a 1/4 inch to the wrong side along the long edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line that is a 1/2 inch from the long edge, so I can know to fold it to that point. Oh my goodness, Jan, that's awful. We are lucky that we're in...
Thank goodness for insurance.
Huh? Yeah. We're lucky we are not in a flood zone, but everywhere around us is.
Just a wildfire.
Yeah, we're in a wildfire zone according to our insurance, one of the insurance companies. But I guess just our house is in a wildfire zone. Okay, so I'm just using the handy dandy little pressing tool. I'm going to press to there. And then, so we draw a line a 1/2 inch from each end of your zipper. I'm good at drawing lines. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to use it here. 1/2 inch. Half inch. Alright, so 1/2 inch in, pin the pressed edge right side up, like that, along the line you just drew on each side. So you probably should have used a pin that is erasable, not the one I used. Alright, so we're going to pretend that's pinned. Right side up along that line and pin it. make sure it's square. Okay. Stitch close to press edge. Check. I'll be right back. I'm going to do that real quick. Do you have to gut everything? I'll be right back. I'm just going to stitch this real quick. That's awful. Oh, awesome, Sharon. Thanks for letting us know. There's a few different coupon codes floating around. But I think if there's a coupon code that you see, they are all still working, but I know they end today at some point. But I think it's Monday morning in Australia. I don't know. Terrible with time.
It's 5 a.m.
Okay, so we've got our ends sewn. And we are going to get our zipper tape, rubber tape. So I like to trim off the edges so that they're even, so I don't have uneven stuff dealing with. So I'm going to grab these and just go straight line it down. So then it just looks like it's one long line. That just helps me to keep things straight when I start stitching all this stuff. So I'm going to run a piece of, I've got my exterior piece and I've got my lining piece. And I'm going to run tape along the top of both of them on the right side. Not like I messed up last time. Your exterior does have interfacing on it. Interior does not. Go left-handed. Make sure your print is in the right direction. And while I'm doing these, I'm going to go ahead and do the other two as well. So what time is it, Jan, in the UK right now? Did you, if you said something earlier, I'm sorry.
8 p.m.
Oh, that's not too much ahead of us.
5 hours.
Pretty sure this print doesn't really matter what way is up. It's kind of a wild print. See if you can find, there might be a bolt over there of this. Not a bolt, but some wrapped, this funky, that fabric. People were asking what kind it was. It might be behind you, but I don't think so.
Behind you?
Behind you? Yeah. Alright, we've got our tape taped. So we're going to take our
Is that not paisley or something?
8:05 p.m. That's not too bad then. Alright, so we're going to go right sides together.
What's this? There's a piece of it.
Yeah, see if, I don't think I have it. Pull your tape off. And we're going to center this. Right sides together. And then I'm going to go right sides together with the lining and the exterior.
SM Amelia Paisley.
Oh, I'll put that in the... Where's it from? Does it say?
Joann's.
Joann's. You can take a picture of that and post it in there. And people were asking about it.
I just got the pattern this morning. Thank you for doing the video. Make sure you enjoy what time you have left without the kids. Love them, but time away is great.
Time away is great. We go get them next weekend. We're ready for them to come home. We miss them, but they're enjoying their time. There. Alright, so we're going to go over stitch these. Sydney, the pattern is amazing. It really, it's a lot of pieces, but it's so well written.
Does Joann's not have it?
Does Joann's not have what? Of course, I gotta switch back to my zipper foot. Wendy, can you get the wash away from Wawak? I know you can get the leather tape. I have it. It gums up my needle. I may have looked at Wawak, and the price was expensive for it compared to what I use with the coupon. I don't know. Do you know how much it is on there? A lot cheaper. I'm gonna have to check into it because Steven loves when I get packages from Wawak. He says, "You got something from Waka Waka." So make sure your zipper pulls out of the way. Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out.
$2.99 for how much?
Alright, and I'm stitching using a 3/8 inch seam allowance here. If you're using a regular zipper, it is a 1/4 inch. Cleaner supply. Yeah, that's the same as Wawak, right? Yeah. Canada. I used to go to Canada every year and loved it. We used to go to Saskatchewan for a horse show. I need the presser thing. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to press open my seams just to get it out of the way for now. And when I say press, I mean I'm going to use the little presser tool. I have found that you really don't have to iron stuff as much. Like I start off with everything ironed nicely. but I feel like I end up making more creases in it if I iron more often. So I'm just pressing everything away with this little tool. Try not to crease your lining. See, in Canada they call it Cleaner Supply. It's the same thing, but they don't have a cool name. Waka Waka. Okay, so we've got that done, and now I'm going to take my other exterior divider pocket panel piece, and right sides together, line them up, and tape. If I can get my tape off. Okay. Sharon, do you get your zippers from them too? That's where I get a lot of my zippers. And my thread. You cannot beat their thread prices. And it's, you know, I feel like it's great quality. Okay. So, and I like to press it down pretty good. And then we're going to grab our lining and go right sides together with the lining. Make sure your butterflies fly in the right direction. So has anybody made a backpack? I feel like I want to make one of my daughters a backpack for school. My youngest starts kindergarten.
Pecana?
What is Pecana? Is it like a local store or online? Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. Stitch it over here. 3/8 inch if you're using a purse zipper. 1/4 inch if you're using a normal zipper. Online wholesale. Ah. So kind of like Wawa or Cleaner Supply. But I guess they're not wholesale. Do you get to shop Amazon like we do for good prices? I know Fabric.com is owned by Amazon now, so you can get some really good prices or shipping through them. All right, we're gonna press it open.
Backpacks are just like any other bag.
Do they hold up, Brenda? I'm a little bit scared it's not gonna hold up. Should I make it like on canvas? Or use vinyl for the bottom or something. I have, you know, I know there's lots of backpack patterns out there. Or a waterproof of some sort. I do live in Florida. Okay. So we've got it pressed open. Can you hear me the directions? We're almost to the end. We only have a few more pages. But that's including all the other stuff. Alright, so we are going to top stitch. On both sides of the zipper. top stitch both sides of the zipper. So to Sally we go. And I'm wearing a lot of thread. My chair's gonna sink.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a new chair.
Alright. 1/8 inch.
Supply has great prices for us. Amazon.ca is amazing for a lot of things. The deals you get, they don't carry a lot of the bolts, the stabilizers. Walmart doesn't carry the sewing stuff either.
Our Walmart doesn't carry a lot of stuff either. I know a lot of people like Overstock.com, but I don't know if they ship to y'all either. Kim, I don't know. We're just testing this out here. This is the first time. Well, this is the second day we're going live because I didn't get it finished the first day. We have talked about. You got a notification?
I did.
Maybe it's because we're friends. We talked about doing more of them. If this goes well. So I don't know if maybe we can do an event, but then sometimes they're kind of hard to find. So I don't know. We tried to put some posts letting people know, but I know, you know. And it's going to be able to be played back later, too, if you want to watch it later. Oh, that's terrible.
Brenda used regular cotton fabric on the backpacks. Extra firm, 926, non-fusible. Was Kim here for part 1?
I don't know. Yeah, see, I like to be able to throw things in the washing machine. So, did it last for like a whole year? Extra firm, 926, non-fusible. I'll have to look and see what that is like. I don't know what Alright, it says trim off your excess zipper. So we're going to do that. And I guess I've got some excess here. So we're going to trim that off. We're just going to trim all of our excess right now. I wish it was easy to do this for some other stuff. Alright, so we are going to fold them in half. Make sure you're...
I don't need both of you under there.
I don't have any clips. I need my clips, honey.
Clips.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going... Wait. Give me my directions. I want to lead you wrong. 3 years. Wow. Okay, I might have to try. I might have to try it. I guess the worst that happens is it doesn't work.
No.
And then we have to buy her one or make her a new one. Missy, if you knock over my thing. So it says fold your divider pocket pieces together so the zipper is at the top, matching raw edges, pin in place. Based pocket sides using an 1/8 inch seam. So we're just going to fold it together and pin it. Make sure all of your stuff is lined up. And we're going to go around the 3 open sides. So one of the really cool things about this bag is you don't have to make like a real zipper pouch for it because it gets sewn in. Ooh, I have a beginner brother too. You want to grab it? I have the SE 400 and it was the one I pretty much learned how to sew on, and now my 7-year-old and my husband sew on it. So I had that one. And then this over here is a Janome 7700. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. And then this is an industrial machine. A Sailrite 111. It's a compound feed. So, the Janome I got for a really good deal. If you're in the U.S., I don't know what the prices are everywhere else. But I got it from a dealer. And we got it new. And I think we paid $1,700 for it. And it was used. What was that?
So you just lay down.
Like the used ones were selling for more than that, so we got a really good deal. Used corduroy nylon fabric for a grade. Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering if I need to use something that's a little bit more. But then is it cheaper just to buy a backpack? But then they don't get, you know. I want to be able to put a place that I can hook the lunch boxes to.
A lunchbox leash.
A lunchbox leash, because our oldest, she left her really nice lunchbox on the school bus the last day of school last year. And they go back to school in like 2 weeks. Alright, so we're going to go stitch all the way around an 1/8 inch. And it's just a basting stitch. Yeah, a lot of people recommend, you know, if you're going to go the industrial route, to get the like 8700 straight stitch machine, but in my opinion, if you're going to use something like that, then you're just replacing a domestic machine. Really. Smush it down. I looked at some brothers. I do have a brother embroidery machine. And our brother dealer was a Janome dealer too. So I got to test them out. I looked at FAFs, but they were really expensive. And I felt like the Janome, it was the exact same thing as what I was looking at, so we decided to go with that. One of my must-haves was the walk-in foot on the domestic. I know you can buy them, but I didn't at the time.
And then you changed out the motor thing, didn't you? The servo?
No, this came with the upgraded. But the Janome is just a regular. So we're just stitching all the way around. And then make sure, oh, I got some strings going on over here. I'm going to open it up and make sure I caught everything, because I may not have. Right there. So just make sure you've caught everything in, and then when you go through and do your final stitch around, it's gonna.
Your opinion on the Juki?
I've never stitched on a Juki. I know, like, there's some people that have the domestic, the semi-industrial straight stitches, and those look super cool. Juki's a great machine from what I've seen, but I don't have one. That's how you spell it. Alright, we have a zipper pocket. So we're going on to step 15. And I think we're going to be going back over here. So we're going to go back over to the Janome. You have the straight stitch Juki. That's like the 8700, Colleen. How do you like it? And do you use it much now that you have the fabricator? All right, I'm going to switch my thing out real quick. Gonna screw it in. Where did my... I got caught. My thread got caught somewhere. You're selling it. What do you... So you don't use it? Or you don't like it? It's... Okay. So I've got... switched back to our different one. So we're grabbing our lining pieces. Chloe, move. Yeah, I want to see something really cute. Look. I'm being watched. Hold on. Oh, she moved. This one was watching me. Chloe, Sasha. Yeah, I think that walking foot makes a big difference. Okay, so we are taking our prepared lining pieces with right sides together. Form your corners by bringing up the side edges to meet the bottom edge. So, the German Shepherd was staring at me. We're going to fold the pieces. So we've got our corner, our bottom, our bottom. And we're going to fold the pieces together. And we're making our bottom. And we're going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm not going to pin this. And we're just doing okay, we're doing all 4 of them. Yep. Okay, we're doing all 4 of them like that. It's in the kitchen. Well, who needs a kitchen anyway? You know, mine just collects dirty dishes and junk. All right, 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to sew. We're going to do all corners. Back stitch beginning and end. Sorry, you can't see this. My arm's all up in the way. I'm going to do the other one. And this is where we cut out the 2-inch squares at the bottom. My KitchenAid collects things too. I think my studio stays the neatest of anything in the house. I have lost my little scissors. Ah!
The little knife looking ones?
The little...
The right by your pink thing?
I know. I gotta use these giant scissors. Alright, so we're starting to see a boxy bottom. Maggie just texted me. My grandparents have my oldest daughter, and I just got a text message. She's 7, and she's learning how to text. I guess they let her use their phone. I don't know what she wants. I guess I need to call her later. Uh-oh. Having some issues right here. One more. Dropped it. We're gonna go make it, turn it together. I'm gonna stitch down. I'm gonna try and stitch from the other direction. No. I don't pin if I don't have to. For little things, I don't pin. It's just 2 layers. Alright. She is sweet. She's been gone 6 weeks, so they're kind of, both of them are, have been, but they're kind of getting to the point where they miss us. All right, we have done that. It says press seams towards base, so we're going to get our fake presser, and we are going to make it go towards the base. We're ready for them to come home. You know, we'll get them just in time for them to go back to school. We'll have like a week, but it's okay. We don't get to visit as much anymore, so, and they've had a blast. They're up in Virginia. Alright, seams are pressed towards the inside, or towards the bottom. I keep dropping it. So we need to do the next step. We need our bottom edge. Make sure you know which one is the back and which one is the front. So my zipper is always in the back. My lining zipper, I always put it in the back. I'm going to cut off the zipper while I'm thinking about it. Okay. So we've got our little pocket right there. Can you see it? There. It's starting to take shape. So we want our divider. Make sure you have it where you want it opening. And then
divider pockets extra, right? Inside of the pattern?
Divider pockets in the back of the pattern. So make sure you have it the direction that you're gonna sew it in. And then we're going to take it and match it to the corner. Match the pocket side seams to the lining piece. Wait. With right sides together, pin the bottom edge of your zipper pocket to the base of one of your lining pieces, from corner seam to corner seam. So seam to seam.
What page are we on?
34. I'm gonna get my clips.
Page 34.
Make sure you turn your, here we go. Let's see. You get to look at me. Okay, so we're going seam to seam. This is going to be hard. So there's the seam right there, and then the seam that we just stitched around, and make sure you push that seam towards the bottom. There. And then let's go to the other side. Seam to the lining. Well, I guess maybe it's corner to corner. Okay, so we've got that done, and then based using a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Not sure. I don't normally baste, but I guess we will.
Paste.
Just right here.
You grinding it?
No. So I'm just going to go right over where I had already sewn. Here and knock directions off. Sorry. Alright, Amanda. I just got here. I'm sewing the center divider pocket at the bottom of the lining where the corners are boxed. So let me finish this real quick and I will show you again. Okay, so we have our lining and we box the corners with that, and I might not have done a 1/4 inch. Nope, I did. So we have our boxed corners in the lining, and they're kind of independently boxed. And so we took the center divider, sorry it's so close, and put it boxed corner to boxed corner, and then stitched a 1/8 inch basting stitch to one side. And then we're going to go on. I'm itchy. Okay, so now we're going to do the sides. I'm going to set the other lining piece aside for now. So we're going to just pin that or clip that. And it kind of forms a nice corner down there. We're going to do the other side. And so you're just taking kind of like you would a binding and turning that corner down there and coming up. And you can see it's starting to take shape. So if you look in there, let me see. Poop them out before I show you. Okay, so you can see it starting to, where's my camera? There it is. Take a box shape. And this is half of your lining. Ta-da! Alright, so we're going to baste it 1/8 of an inch. And then I think we're going to go 1/4 inch. Alright, we're going to see if you can say my basting skills on this machine are not the greatest. I don't baste very often. Kind of thick right there. Alright, so we're going to go to the other side. Baste the other side. We're going to confuse it for a minute because it doesn't like the really thick area. I feel like I should have trimmed that zipper down a little bit since I used a bigger zipper. Maybe to 1/4 inch or something. Alright, so we have got our half a box. Woohoo! Now we're going to take our other... Man, I got some long strings hanging around here. We're going to take the other and do the same thing. So we're going to take the zipper pocket and go find the bottom of the other lining. And right sides together. I think I'm going to do this on the industrial. And just make sure it stays centered.
So, just for clarification, but if people only have one sewing machine set up, is it necessary?
No, you can do it all.
Each different machine?
You can do it all on the domestic. I just have the thicker thread set up.
So this can be done using one machine?
Yeah, and I've said that. Yep. And just make sure, you know, kind of try to take your time and get it all. Actually, I'll go ahead and do it on this machine. Alright, so I'm going to stitch this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance now instead of the 1/8 inch. And then we'll do the sides. We're going to do the bottom and then the sides. And I'm going to go ahead and do it over here. Alright, so we're going to 1/4 inch seam. Get it over the hump. And remember, when you do linings, it's okay to take a little bit larger. Let me see if I can focus that. It's okay to do a little bit larger seam allowance, maybe a 1/16 of an inch larger or a 1/4 inch larger, to make that lining fit just a little bit snugger. More snug? I don't know. Like a drunk sailor doing that. Okay, so we've got our drunk sailor stitching. Ignore that. And we've got, you know, kind of trim up your threads if any are peeking through as you go, because they kind of start hiding soon. And this really is one of my biggest pet peeves about interfaced fabric, is it just kind of, you have little threads everywhere. Alright, to the sides. make sure you put, and what I do is I face, like, just like you're doing a binding, if you do a binding on anything, I kind of try to do a 90-degree angle and put my sides straight down. Oh, thank you. This one, I'm not crazy about this one. I really like the butterfly one. But the other one, it's kind of crazy out there. I had a lot of people ask about it, though, so I had Steven find the name of it. And I did get it from Joann's, and it's called Amelia Paisley. Alright, so we got one side. Make sure your pocket stays out of the way, so I'll clip it. What are you laughing at? Pocket? We're weird. Alright, so we are stitching, no, we are clipping. I have found that I do prefer the brighter prints over some of the more subdued prints. Okay, so we have got it clipped. Now we're going to go, make sure I got that out of the way. A 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I do want, alright, back to here. I'm sorry if you can't see. I'm trying to keep my arm out of the way, but it's not as easy as I kind of thought it would be. Alright, we're going all the way up. 1/4 inch. We're gonna go over. Just decline, back stitch that a little bit. And make sure you get it good. We're over that hump. That is the truth. Steven oftentimes finds himself having to help me pick fabrics that go together. Alright, we're going to go all the way down into the corner, back stitch, and make sure you've caught everything. You don't want to have odd things showing. And we're going to go to the other side. And I'm kind of going a little bit inside of my other stitchings, and it's supposed to be a little bit more, but my 1/8 inch was a bit off. Alright, we're coming to this hard part. And then I'm going to make sure it got that well, because sometimes it doesn't, since it comes off that giant. And I do have one of those jean stepper thingies, but I've never used it. Alright, we got it. So, we have our lining done. Let's see if we can hold you back far enough that you can see. We've got a lining with a boxed bottom and a zipper divider. Ta-da! And the butterflies fly the right direction.
That's cute.
It is. Okay, open up your zipper pocket so that you can fit your arm through. because you don't want to put this in there and then zip it shut, because that doesn't work very well. So what we're going to do is,
You need bag.
Not yet. Read the directions. Now we're ready to assemble the bag. So we're going to attach our strap brackets. Yes, I need the bag. Okay, we're going to set this aside for now. And it says, with zipper wide open and bag inside out. Because of course it's, you know, right side up. And my base is a little bit large. I should have tested it and done, but I'm just going to stick it down later. It could have been like a 1/8 of an inch smaller. All right, so we've got our bag right side out. No, wrong side out. We're going to match. We're going to flip everything completely over. And I'm going to shut the zipper just a hair. We need to, I need the pins. Thank you. Okay, we're going to pin it. I feel like pins hold it better. And that's, so. Wait, that's not the part that I'm pinning. We are doing this part. The side of the yoke of the lining. And I am pinning because it's just 2 layers of. All right, other side. I think I'm gonna pin these, clip these, just so I don't accidentally pull them. There. So we're doing right sides together. Then we're going to quarter-inch seam allowance, stitch them down. All right, we're gonna go along that seam. We're getting close. I do not run over my pins. I know a lot of people do. I'm not one of those people. Alright, we got a 1/4-inch seam going on there. Don't put the thread in your drink. Okay, so we've got that sewn now. We're going to go back and see next up. On the open end of the zipper, about 2/3 of the way on the open end of the zipper, make a couple basting stitches. Open the zipper about 2/3 of the way. Okay. Zipper is at this end. All right. So the zipper needs to be open about 2/3 of the way, so it's kind of right here. I'm going to take those off. And I need to get a needle and thread. I might have one in here. I do have a stiletto. Alright, so I have a needle. Kind of looking for a thicker thread. And I just pulling it through my sewing machine. So I'm going to about 1 inch from the end sew my zipper together, so that it's easier to work with. And this basting stitch will come out later. So I need to figure out how to do this. So I've got it. I'm trying to line it up right here. I don't know if you can see this. And just sew a basting stitch. I'm trying to keep all the stuff apart, and I just doubled my thread so that it's easier to make a little sturdier. You probably could have done this with the sewing machine prior to this stage. But it's not that big a deal. And I'm just going to tie it off. And stab myself, because you know, if we're using this needle, we gotta stab ourselves some. Not sure what's going on here. I've got my two ends, I'm just gonna tie them together. Okay. Now I can put my needle back away. Alright, that's done. So now I get to turn the page again. Retrieve your completed strap brackets. That's a tongue twister. Can you get me the strap brackets, please? Ooh, and I need the key leash. Alright, so key leash, we're going to make sure it stays with our bag. And we've got our completed strap brackets. These are going to go place one strap bracket between your exterior and zipper section. So between exterior and zipper. And it's gonna go. Make sure you check it to make sure you have it the right way. So exterior to exterior, interior or lining to zipper. So we are going to, let's see. Line it all up. And we're going to clip. So we've got all that lined up. And I'm just going to clip it, clip it, clip it. Okay. I'm going to do the other one. So we're going in between, and this is the tricky part. I have done it and it's turned out backwards, or you've seen a little bit of the lining. So we are going to trim that thread there. We're going to take our bracket and lining side to zipper side, exterior side to exterior, and stick it in here so that it's exterior, bracket, zipper, lining. I hope that's not too confusing. I'm going to open it up. We're going to center everything. And the good thing is you just line up those stitches that you did earlier. And we're going to clip. And clip. And clip. And then we're going to go an 1/8 inch. And I am going to do this on the industrial because I want it secure and it's thick. And I have the industrial so that I don't ruin my Janome. So over to Sally we go. And I am just knocking everything down. When I do these, I make sure I have a small stitch length. And I'm going to do an 1/8 inch. And I want that to line up. No, 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just stitch first, get it all secure. And go back and forth a bunch and hope you don't have to tear it out. So you can test it, pulling it out, and making sure it works, and we're good.
Now it's all gonna fall apart. Don't tip it.
So we're good with that. There's another thread. And we're mostly centered. I'm really not going to be too concerned about that. So you can flip it back. Ooh, but I did miss a spot right there. My lining is not. Okay, so my lining didn't catch, so I need to stitch that real quick. Alright, got that fixed. So then we're going to sew this other side. We're going to get it. Make sure you backstitch a lot over that. This is your stress point of the bag. So you want it nice and sturdy. I sewed that like I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to use that seam ripper. It does, okay, so in the directions it does say stitch it once and then check. So in case you have to restitch it or tear it out, that you don't have to stitch out all those or tear out all those seams. So we're gonna test it again and we're, you know. What was what? Alright, so we are maybe turning. It's not perfect, but it looks good enough for me. This whole bag has not gone perfectly, so, you know, it's going to really be good enough. I'm going to flip it back and trim those. Of course, you know, you can do them perfectly 50,000 times, and then as soon as you're doing something and showing people, it doesn't go as smoothly. So we're just going to trim, not too close, because we don't want it to fall apart. Trim the other side. Make sure you don't cut anything you don't want cut. Okay, so that's done. And it's pretty thick, you know, so that probably is one of the thickest parts your machine's gonna have to go through. I mean, it's a good thickness. So, on to completing your lining. Make sure you caught everything, because I had to restitch. I hadn't really, my right here wasn't all the way caught. We're gonna don't let me forget the key leash. And we've got to flip this right side out. Which isn't the easiest with the... Make sure your zipper's open. Wait. Alright, so we're halfway. Oh, the picture froze? I hope. Maybe it's a fluke. I don't know. Let's hope. Alright, so we've got it right side out. It's kind of hard with that. And we're going to put, this is my back. So it needs to face, the zipper's open. Where's the zipper? So we're going to stick it in the bag. And my zippers are all going to go the same direction. I hope. We're going to pull this out. We're going to meet side seams to side seams. And I like to make them go opposite directions. It's probably personal preference. Okay, I'm glad I'm back, Kim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do have storms in the area. So, side seam to side seam. And this is going to be really just finagling and I'm pinning because it is thin. And I don't want clips to move. Zipper pocket is open. Alright, so this is kind of going to finagle it. Here we go. And we're just going to pin around. And you might gotta stretch it a little bit to make sure you get it lined up properly. I'm not a pin user a lot, but when I don't have interfaced fabric, I pin. And I kind of just meet in the middle and then work my way out. It looks like we're getting ready to get another nasty round. So I don't like pins because I end up stabbing myself and bleeding. It's storming there too. I think it's just storming. My mom's in Virginia, and she said it's storming there today too. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the whole everywhere storming.
Yes, what state are you in?
I'm in North Florida. We are on the East Coast. Like, literally 10 minutes. Oh, you're in North Texas? Like Dallas area or further north? I don't know that well.
Further north is Oklahoma.
We were just in Connecticut. They might be coming your way because they were in Virginia earlier. Or now, or I don't know. But most of the time, ours are, once we get them, they go out to sea. North near Oklahoma border. Like, near 40-ish. We used to travel that way, through 40 when we were going to New Mexico with the horses, when I was showing horses. We'd go through, well, everything in Texas that was on 40. Okay, so I have everything pinned all the way around. And since, and I forgot the key leash. So pick a spot, put your key leash in. And I like for the leash to be long enough to go all the way down to the bottom. Ish. So we're going to put it about right there. I'm glad that I got that. Ow. Thanks, Sharon. Y'all were supposed to remind me before I got to the gotten everywhere around. West of 35. I don't know where that is.
35 south on Brownwood, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we have the key leash in, and you just stick the key leash wherever you want. This is what's... Yeah, well, okay, so there's a key leash because I put a key leash in everything. Y'all are so helpful. I do have it on my notes. I even put it there and still forgot it. So I am going to take off my makeshift table. Steven, can you take off my makeshift table?
That's my cue.
Yeah, this is your cue. And we're going to get it sewn up. I've got my stiletto in case I need help. You can't spell. I can't talk today, so, you know, whatever. I'm going to take off and make the... What do you... Try what one? The not being able to talk? Because, you know, my family loves it when I can't talk. Huh? Okay, so we are going to pick a spot to start. It doesn't really matter where. Just try to not get stabbed. And we're going with a, I'm pretty sure we're still going with a 1/4 inch, but I probably am going to go towards a 3/8 inch.
Oh, yeah, key thingy.
Yeah, I put the key leash on everything. Not that it helps me not lose my keys, but... If you didn't put the turning hole pocket in, it says, Jan, I made it. It says leave an 8-inch gap for turning.
What is that, 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch plywood?
Scraps. It really is a nice size though. I can I knock it though a lot. Alright, so we're going to stitch. And I'm going to go about 3/8 inch. And it says go around twice to make sure you get everything. One of these days I'm going to, zip's open. Yep, it is open. Thanks. One of these days I'm going to get around to doing a tutorial on how I did my extension table and my ironing station. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's my ironing station. It is so awesome. It's probably one of my favorite things in here. Alright. I don't know if you can see this. There we go. I'm going to try and keep my hands out the way. So I'm just going to stitch along. And normally my first time around is not the most, the prettiest. But, yeah, so, that was my first time using jigsaw, and I learned I am a terrible jigsaw user. make sure your needle is down when you're repositioning, and it really helps. Yeah, this part's pretty awesome because you're really almost done. I'm not sure what's going on over here. You really don't have a whole lot of room to work with under here or going at this point because it is a fairly small opening. We're just going to, you know, make it work. Ouch. Stab yourself a couple times. Pull pins out. I'm sorry, my hand's in the way. Okay, we've got coming to the key leash. You know, y'all let me forget. Almost there. It's in now. We have that key leash. Okay. One more needle. I'm stuck on something. Okay, so we're around one time. We're going to go all the way around one more time. And I think I'm going to see if it's going to be a little bit easier to go the other direction. Hit some stuff in the way. The key leash. I cut the key leash. No, that's scrap key leash. And I do keep this because then you can use it if you are using the same kind of fabric again for a little D-ring hook or whatnot. Okay, so we're going to go make sure everything looks good before we go around one more time. Probably don't have to go around again, but we're gonna, you know what, let's get this table back up here.
Push a button.
Joop joop. My button's working. See, it's an automated table putter upper. I might need some assistance here. Alright. This is how I'm used to doing them since I do it on the industrial, and I use. Alright, so we're going to go around. Around and around and around. Hi, Kathy. Well, I'm jumping all over your screen, like, because the camera went everywhere? Or because we're getting bad weather? The table's really nice. There's a couple things I would probably do different. And I actually have gotten to where I prefer working on a flatbed. Thanks to Sally. And you know, when you go around a second time, you kind of can just zoom through. Because you've already got all of your needles to stop stabbing you. I just started somewhere around here. Oh, you're having the heavy rain. Yeah. Okay. So, who's ready? Are you ready for it? We are all stitched. This is Steven's favorite part. We're all stitched. We're one giant bag now. Give it the shake test. And we left the zipper open so we can reach in and start turning. Kind of go slow when you're getting started, but like it's not a super structured bag, so it just kind of comes. You're missing it, Steven.
I can see it
Oh,
right
you're Yep, birthing the bag. It's a lot easier than birthing the kids. He said the bag's not going to throw up on you. Alright, so can I have the little yellow handle scissors right there? Since I have the bag inside out, I'm going to go ahead and trim some random strings. Because, you know, they just show up. I think I got them. Nope. Don't cut your fabric.
now. I'm birthing a bag, not birthing a bag.
Birthing. Yes, you're not burping the bag.
I'm gonna need you to push. Breathe. Actually, how do you have string on your bag?
Same reason I have string. Alright, so we're going to find the pocket somehow. There we go. Push your corners out. Whole 9 yards. And turn yourself around. Pull your tabs. Yes, there's Peltex on the bottom. And I use Decor Bond instead of the SF101. Don't look too closely at my seams. Oh, look, I can cut this out. all that hand stitching. There. So we've got more strings. That fabric was really stringy. And a key leash. It's not a very long key leash, but when you forget to put it in, hey, at least it's in there. Alright, so we've got, let's shove this sucker in the bag. I hope I did this right. Okay, whew! I thought my pockets weren't in right. Okay. So we're going to pull out our
Flip pocket.
Yeah, flip pocket, and I'm just going to trim it and make it even now that it's pulled through. And then I'm going to, I know, phew, didn't mess it up. Just
start the video all over again.
Y'all did not see that. Okay, so we're just going to flip our pocket. I'm sure y'all know how to do this. And I like to tug it a couple times. Twist it. Tug it. Yank it. I feel like that bop it. Every time I do this, the bop it game. Twist it. Pull it. Bop it. I don't remember how it goes other than that. Alright, so I'm going to run a stitch as close to the edge as I can. And we're almost done. Let's see how much stuff I can accumulate over here. Gonna flop this bad boy up here. I don't have the strap done. I'm probably going to wait on the strap until I can actually iron without having to worry. But the strap's pretty easy.
Kim said even I got nervous for you.
I know, it's always nerve-wracking when you flip it. And then when I flipped it, the zipper pocket on the inside, the divider pocket, was like not looking like that's how it was supposed to look, but it was. It was fine. And the worst sound to hear when you're flipping it is like a ripping sound. I hate when I hear that. Alright, so zipper pocket goes in. Push it all the way down in the corners. And so we have the inside. There's that zipper pocket. I'm on the wrong side. That's where we flipped it through. And then we've got the key leash right here. Thank you, Jan. This is an amazing bag. I swear you have to, these bag designers, have to be an engineer to be able to design them. I mean, if I were to try to design this, and I do tote bags, but if I were to try to design this, it would be, I don't even know what it would look like. It definitely would not look like this. So then we have, where's my little rectangles? Okay, so we can make sure everything zips up. We're good. Oh, no, here it is. I have one rectangle, two rectangles. Okay, so we have our rectangle rings. And the directions say to rivet them after you stitch them. I might rivet them. I'm not going to rivet them today. So we're going to slide it on. It says about an inch. Well, this one doesn't really go about an inch. Well, we're going about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to, oh, Kim, thank you. And I had fun. We've talked about maybe doing more. I'm thinking of doing some tutorials and stuff like that, and YouTube, not YouTube, but a blog while I go to school. So I'm going to just stitch these on real quick. And if I line them up. Oh, good. Well, we're are there any of the ChrisW design ones that y'all would like to see here? Any that y'all are working on or would like to work on? I don't mind doing them, so just give me some ideas. You know, and I'll try to split them up a little bit, so they're not quite so long. Unless y'all don't mind them being long. I kind of like to sit down and watch them. I like the live videos. Hello, Carolyn. I'm almost finished. You'll be able to watch it, though, all the way through once I'm done. I'm just finishing up these. I'm not doing the strap today. If I iron, I blow a circuit.
Debbie said, do you have to use rivets, or could you just sew instead?
I've never used rivets on mine before. And that my first one is 2 years old. And I abused it. Cindy, did you miss all my struggling? Okay, we have a bag. Let's back it up some. We have a bag. And it has clips. Not yet handles, but it will have handles. And the straps, yeah. So, it really is a fairly easy sew. Even if you mess it up sometimes. Sharon, that's kind of what I think too. Thanks. I think it's awesome. I gotta find who this is gonna go to. I love the zipper. I am going to save it and it'll be uploaded live within a few minutes of ending the video. And then it can be missed again. Spell check. Uh-oh.
Have you, Lewis?
Oh. So we are done. I think everybody can make a strap. Or if not, maybe I'll do a strap one day once we get, I'm hoping I put in warranty work. This is the first time I did the contrasting top, and I really like it. So I think that most of mine from now on are going to have the contrasting top. Kim, I will accept you. I Facebook stalk, you know, whatever. Thank you. I'm not selling it. I was selling, and I'm stopping because people don't want to pay handmade prices. And I'm going back to school. But I'm going to start a blog, and I want to do DIY tutorial kind of things. Because I'm a DIY person, you know. I like to teach people how to do things. And we're debating about whether to keep my business name for the blog or to do it Oh So Mandy. So, I don't know. Or something different. I don't know. But thanks for joining me. I had a lot of fun. I hope that we can continue to do these and do more of them. I don't know. You can friend request me. Whatever. I don't care. I post a lot of kid pictures. But we're going to try to do another one maybe next month. I think in the ChrisW Designs group, which is where you are right now. And get that going. So, happy Sunday or Monday. You're welcome, everyone. Thanks for watching. It made a lot of fun. And leave some comments about what you would like to see of the ChrisW Designs bags. And we'll try to get it going. So, bye.